All right, what we've got here is a tri-field EMF and RF tester. This meter measures things like the radiation basically given off by things like your iPhone, your router, your cell phone antennas that are outside and stuff like that. And what happens is this little reader does a pretty good job at kind of letting you know how much of that stuff, we'll just call it, how much of that radiation is being put out in the air around you, and specifically from devices that you own, like your iPhone and things like that. The stuff that's in your house that would be considered unsafe levels would shock you. It would totally blow your mind. But today I wanted to show off these special underwear. It's crazy, right? But these are amazing underwear. I posted about this earlier this week on my feed down below. You can check it out. But these underwear are called Faraday's, and they're made by a really cool company called Faraday's. And my friend Antonio over there sent me a pair of these to check these out, and I reached out to him because there's more and more research, according to the World Health Organization, that's telling us that all of this electronic stuff around us, all of this Wi-Fi, all of this Bluetooth, all of this LTE, all of this 5G, this is very likely having a pretty significant effect on male reproductive health. And that's a big thing. Testosterone levels in the average male have drastically dropped since the 1970s. I mean, to the point that it's just uncanny. It's very unusual, and it's a problem that a lot of guys have. So what I've got here set up to kind of show you how these work is I have this EMF tester, this reader that's set up, and it's already going off the chart because I've got my iPhone XS Max and it's on LTE, and I'm kind of simulating this scenario that you would probably find yourself in a lot of times. You're out and about, you're watching a show on Netflix, maybe you're at the airport, whatever. Maybe you're cruising YouTube, it's your own thing, maybe you're streaming music. But when your phone is on LTE, it is blasting you. It is just blasting you out of control. And this tri-field tester over here is showing us that there is a range going between like 0.3 to somewhere around 1.8 in terms of peak and back and forth, depending on what's going on, depending on the amount of power that the phone's putting out to be able to hit the tower and stuff like that. So they're wrapped right now in the Faraday's underwear. This is a Faraday fabric. Faraday is the name of a scientist that basically created this thing called the Faraday cage. It's like this mesh that is now being able to be made in fabric that helps block out radiation. And these underwear are super comfortable, by the way. They're like made of metal, but they're super comfortable. You don't think metal. So anyway, check this out. I'm gonna show you here. Basically, I've got the tester here. It's bouncing between the range that it is, and it's already significant in one sense when you're really ramping the phone up at this level. But watch what happens when I remove it. Remember that range I was telling you of about 0.3 to 1.8? You can see on this on my meter here that it's not even showing me a peak because it's so high. The peak is so high, it can't even measure it anymore. And on top of that, we're seeing consistent levels of 2, 5, back down to 2, 4, 9. It's just insane. And just for a frame of reference, what's generally considered safe for consistent exposure for non-ionizing radiation like this is somewhere in the department on this reader of 0.4 to 0.5. Some people would even say it's in the ballpark of anything under just one whole point. And this is measured in, milliwatts per meter. But the fact is, these underwear got you pretty close to what some folks would consider safe. And it cut out about 90% of what we're seeing exposed from the phone. And you keep your phone in your pocket, you keep your phone in your hand, you're texting up front, doing things, it's always near a guy's crown jewels. And these underwear from Faraday's are amazing. I love these things. I can't brag about these enough. These things are designed to help protect a guy in that way, to protect his reproductive system. I don't know if you know this or not, but 99% of a male's testosterone is created down in the family jewels department. So all I gotta say here today is I told Antonio I would show everybody these in action because I really believe in this. And if you're a guy or you know a guy that you love or care about out there, you need to consider something like this for him, because the world's only going to be blasting you with more of this stuff as time goes on. And it may sound a little bit crazy sometimes because there's not as much information out there as there should be, but check out what the World Health Organization has to say about the possibly carcinogenic effects of things like prolonged exposure to cell phone usage and that sort of a thing. And I think that most of the guys out there would want to protect their equipment, if you get what I'm saying.